I wish I knew how to eat healthier. I dormed my first year, and we had a diner. So you just go there and then you just pay for your food. And I love fried chicken, so I see that every day.
That I believe that the college experience, a lot of it is what you make it. So, and I kind of realized that the hard way over the past, well, I'm a junior now, but my first 2 years I really was not enjoying the college experience, and I feel like that's because, you know, I'd always wanted to go to a small school, and Maryland's the complete opposite of that, and then showing up on campus and really the way that you make it kind of feel like a small school is finding those communities, finding communities that you can fit in with, finding people that you connect with, and then eventually you just find your people. But another thing is daily life in a college student, just being a college student is going off of what Vivian said, just like it is a lot of self-discipline in that if you think that you're going to be okay taking an 8 a.m., you are completely foolish. Like that's not how it works. You're not going to be able to get up in time. And I think I had that mentality in my first semester of being like, I woke up at like 6 a.m. from my high school, like why wouldn't I be able to make it to this class? And then you get into college and realize that you don't want to ever get out of bed some days. So, but I mean, you know, just like realizing like it's your parents aren't waking you up, you're not getting shoved out of bed by somebody else. You have that complete freedom to not go if you want to, but also, you know, you like don't want to look back at your college years and be like, oh, I wanted to stay in bed all day. You wanted to go out and get involved. You wanted to go out and play on the mall. You wanted to go to the diner and eat ice cream and make those memories.
Well, for me, I work a lot, like about 30 to 35 hours a week, and honestly, that's just because I like to. So, like Tim said, the fine line with balancing school and work is very important. Nobody's telling you to do what they want you to do. I mean, some professors are like that, but then again, you are paying to attend this university, and you call the shots, and that can be a very liberating thing. So, just. Yeah, like how to plan for yourself. It can always change, and that's okay.
That's your college experience.
Personally, I'm Chinese American. That's how my ethnic identity. The most notable thing when you get into College Park is that there are a lot of international students, and you can choose to associate with them if you want. It's very easy. Speak Chinese to them if you can, and you'll notice very quickly that they're extremely different from you. They dress nice, they're rich, they hang out in groups of 10, but they're there for you. But there are also Asian American groups, like Asian Americans who went to school here, who like know what it's like to study for high school for like 20 hours a day by your parents. And there are those communities out there, but there are also, college also gives you the opportunity to meet like non-Asians, especially in College Park. Like around here, there aren't too many like African Americans, but in College Park there are a lot, and they give you a different perspective on like different levels of wealth and how they may like interact socially. I think being like Chinese American or like Asian American in general, you're expected to go into a STEM field or some type of medical field, some type of technology field, and really a lot of like, if you go into those fields, you're gonna get supported by your professors. But if you don't, if you go into journalism like Heather, where there aren't as many Asian Americans, I don't think you're going to get that same level of support as you would find in the field.
I guess going off what Andrew said earlier, I was also kind of forced to be in STEM major because my parents. switched to information science major, which is kind of like a mixture of computer science and statistics. But I recently told my parents that I changed my major because they were asking me, so what are you going to do with your math degree? And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But I guess it was kind of difficult for me to change it, but at the same time, I wasn't enjoying it. And it was hard to motivate myself to open up the textbook and do like homework problems. And I wasn't also getting good grades because I'll do like a couple problems and then I'll lose interest or motivation. And I guess it was difficult to tell my parents that I changed my major, and then I kind of found my own direction of what I want to do in the future. But I guess I realized that in college because that's the first time I guess I had freedom to think about my own future.
When I was in high school and middle school, I had a really rough relationship with my parents because they sent me to SAT classes in middle school. They made me do a lot of extracurriculars, and I just didn't understand why, because none of the other kids were doing it. Well, none of the other white kids were doing it. All the Asian kids were doing it. But after I got to college, I realized I learned about how hard they had to work in order to get the immigrant, like skilled immigrant visa. So they had to like work extremely hard. So I understand why they think that everyone needs to work as hard as they did in order to succeed. But I still have a pretty bad relationship with my dad because of it. I think your intentions can be good, but the way you execute your actions also matter. He's very forceful, and he did it in a very negative way in which I understand why he did it. I can kind of accept it, but I can't fully forgive him. So I think you can really help your kids by making them understand why they need to go through this process, or why not. They can tell you what they want to do later in life, because honestly, college is really not the only option available to them.
Throughout high school, like my parents they were pretty strict, kind of helicopter with my parents. They did take piano classes, go to SAT school also, went to Saturday school also, went to a lot of extra school. Since I've come to Maryland, like I really love being like independent, so like I can do my own things, and I like kind of agree with like Andrew. Like sometimes my parents were, like a little bit more forceful. Like it was either their way, like because they always saw it as like their way is like the best way. Like I'm sure they have the best intentions, but it's like it was kind of difficult. But yeah, since I've gone to college, I kind of relate to what Vivian says about how I've been trying to have more open conversation with my parents. Because I know in the past, like whenever we'd have arguments, like I kind of just shut down and like I wouldn't talk to them. But obviously that's not very healthy, and you have to communicate your feelings and why are you upset? Like really like explain yourself and try to get each other to understand each other.
Right, to add on to what Tim said, dorms are. You have to really know that you want to live in a dorm. Like, especially if you go to Maryland, they'll try really hard to get you to live in a dorm your first year. And for a lot of people, it's absolutely miserable. If you're unlucky, they'll give you a forced triple, which is a room for 2 people that forces 3 people to live in there, basically. It's also like just really small. It's close to campus, but if you get unlucky, you still have to walk 20 minutes to get to class. So that's the same distance as an apartment. It's not that much cheaper than like an apartment either. It's only like $100, $200 cheaper. I'm sorry, I just really hate dorms. Some dorms, you don't get air conditioning. Some dorms, you get room temperature air conditioning. The dorms this year, half of them got mold. And you're forced to eat like diner food pretty much every day. Please do your research on dorms.
I think one piece of advice I would say would be to know your limits and find your passions. And this has kind of driven me through, to give some context, my first 2 years at UMD, I actually wanted to transfer out. I was put into a forced double my freshman year. My dorm experience was terrible. Thank God I had a good roommate who was quiet and considerate, but you know, it could have gone the complete opposite direction. I also had no AC. And on top of that, I was in a major that I really disliked. So it was just a lot of bad factors. So I thought to myself, like, okay, let me go find some more opportunities. But then that led to me completely overcommitting myself to too many things. So, you know, working for multiple school publications, helping out with student groups who just wanted to get started, getting involved with the Asian American Student Union, and spreading myself too thin to a point where my freshman year, you know, I was looking at other colleges because I wanted to leave. But then sticking around, one, because I got a little lazy with researching other colleges, and two, because, you know, I did have a lot of people that I still valued at the school, and I knew that, you know, maybe if I stuck it out for a little longer, something would come along, other things would happen, and, you know, like, I guess I think, you know, that was definitely a really great decision for me, because out of that I ran into a whole bunch of different opportunities. So even though I might not be working for 5 different school publications now, narrowing it down to a lot of things that I can dedicate most of my time to and feel happy when I'm actually in those spaces and not feeling stressed about it. So yeah, definitely, you know, like knowing your limits. You never want to experience burnout when you're in college. There are nights that you just, you know, gotta stay up until like 6 a.m. to finish an assignment. I don't recommend it, but you know, if it does happen, like knowing your limits, taking time to yourself, trying to get away, trying to find that spot on the ball where you can just sit and be away from things, you know, like realizing that your mental health, I mean, once it goes away, it's not coming back. So really valuing that as well.
Yeah, I agree with Heather on the point about finding your passions, because for me, I think there are a lot of things that I wanted to do in college, and lucky for me, I had the opportunity to do so. So one of the things I wanted to learn was I wanted to learn Japanese language, and I had the opportunity to do that, and because of that interest, I was actually able to get an internship working for a Japanese American newspaper in San Francisco. So one of my summers, I actually lived in San Francisco, and then I also was lucky enough to develop a network within the Japanese American community over there. And so because I followed that passion, you know, I was able to live in San Francisco, meet people there, and I actually see that's where my future is going now. So, you know, just because, you know, people can see when you have passion in something, they see that energy in you and they gravitate towards you. So if you follow your passions, I think good things will always come, because you'll not only have that energy about you, but you'll also work hard at it, and that's all you really need to succeed, I think.
So whatever you do.
My favorite extracurricular is also my job. I work for the University of Maryland Police Department's auxiliary unit, and so that's just a student run branch of the police department where you don't have to be like a criminology major to apply, you just have to be taking at least 1 credit, and I'm sure most students could be able to do that, but it pays pretty well, and a lot of the shifts you can like walk around campus, drive around campus. Our campus closes at 10 p.m. so when you're like driving onto campus, there's like these gatehouses that you stay in and just check for people's IDs and stuff. It's a great job for like night owls, because for me, I know I can't really sleep past or like before midnight, so I might as well just be going out and make money. And yeah. Some of my closest friends I met at work too, because it's a lot of like-minded people who are in this department, and yeah, you make a lot of connections doing so as well.
I think my favorite extracurricular is just going to the gym. I think that it's important to take care of your mental health and also your physical health, especially in college. No one's pushing you to do anything, so it's important to just take care of yourself and your body. I was in cross-country and track in high school, and then after that I just stopped running. And I noticed that I just felt very like tired and like sad all the time. So I started going to the gym more, and then I really got into weightlifting. So I joined the powerlifting club on campus, and again, like I think what most people said it's really cool to join a club because you get to meet people who have similar interests as you, and they may be more knowledgeable on, let's say, for example, lifting. You can like learn from your peers as well, and yeah, I think it's really important to take care of your physical health in college, and I try to make it a priority to go every day, which I think is really important. So.
If there's an incident, whether there was something derogatory written maybe on your whiteboard, on your dorm door, or you faced someone calling you a derogatory or term or slur, the first thing you can do is alert the campus police. If it's something that you feel that it was you were targeted, you're certainly welcome to call the campus police, and they will take an incident report. There's also many other resources on campus. If you felt like that's you had to deal with someone who was targeting you based on your race or your gender, or your sexuality, whatever you felt that it was a part of targeting, you can also go to the counseling center. There's also the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. There's also the Office of Civil Rights and Sexual Misconduct. So whatever the nature is, if you reach out to someone, there's always going to be a way to connect you to the right people and make sure you get the help, and also the addressing of the incident from whether it needs to be escalated to the community police or the city police. There's a whole response team now in place for something like that. And it's taken very seriously on a college campus. So know that you can report it and things will be followed up.
I think a really helpful thing with my parents was just them being willing to have a listening ear. I've always had a very close relationship with my parents, but in college it was, as most of our panelists have said, it's a little different in college when you're away. Like, even though I was pretty local, I could go home any weekend that I wanted, still being able to give a call if I was having a rough day. But I just think that something my mom would really do is, if I came home, she'd make my favorite home cooked meal, and that meant the world to me, to come back to something that was so familiar and so comforting. So just knowing that, just knowing that your parent is there is really all you really need in college. I don't know if other people feel this way, but I feel like it doesn't take a lot to show that you are there for them and you still love them from afar.
So going into college, I wanted to major in animal science because I'm on the pre-vet track. But I work at an animal clinic during breaks, and so I was talking to the veterinarian about my plan, and she said to major in biology. So I did biology. And my sister also majored in biology, so I kind of just followed in her steps. And it's a little easier for me, even though biology is hard, it's still, I'm working towards my end goal, which is to become a veterinarian, so I feel like my undergraduate studies is just kind of a stepping stone. Anybody else?
I feel like for me it was less finding my right major and feeling like I was on the right life path, if that makes sense. So I'll be very honest, I still don't love my major. From coming in, my ideal major would be photojournalism if it existed at the University of Maryland. And I know that that's in the works, however, right now that doesn't exist. But feeling that I'm on the right life path, and that, even if you are in a major that may be not your favorite, maybe you're not doing work that you love, you're still using people and connections within that major to pursue what you want to do. So finding professors that I can rely on, even within classes that I didn't enjoy, still finding people that this person in the field, how can I get connected with them? How can I go get coffee with them? How can, I make these networking opportunities possible? And then on top of that, also just I think the time that I really felt that I was in the right minor was after taking a couple of Asian American Studies classes. And that's not a plug, that's a very honest answer, in that Asian American Studies minor was a place where I finally felt excited to participate in discussion. I didn't feel like the professor was forcing me to raise my hand. I actually felt this is something that I care about. These are issues that I've never heard about in high school. This is something that I genuinely want to learn more about. and the minor continues to get better as I take more classes, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. If you're gonna go out, make sure that you're with a crowd who you can trust to take care of you, because we honestly see a lot of people like stumbling across the streets because they don't know their limits, and then I guess because they're going out with strangers or just acquaintances they don't know so well, they're just kind of abandoned, and that's not safe at all. So definitely like get a group of people together who you would trust to like get you home safely and maybe take care of you until you're good to go.
The courses would take first semester is going to be gen ed courses. So it's going to be courses that are like similar for every single person going to college. So you have around like 2 years to really decide what major you want to do before you have to like commit to a specific track. So you don't really have to worry about it.
Look at the building that you're taking your class in. It is so important, especially on a campus like UMD, where it's literally like from one end to the next, it's about like a 25-minute walk. Like you don't want to be walking that 25 minutes to class. Make sure that it's near you if possible, because I made that mistake my first semester, and then I had to walk 15 minutes to my English class, and it was just not a good time.
I know when you first sign up for classes, well, when you start your classes, you have about a week and a half for a schedule adjustment, and that's kind of like, within that period, you can add and drop classes without any academic or, I guess, financial penalties. And so if you are sitting through a couple of lectures and you don't feel like this professor is the right fit for you, you can always just pick another class, another professor, move around your schedule the way you like. But I will say that there are a lot of professors on campus who will absolutely change your life. One of our Asian American Studies professors, Janelle Wong, she actually like gave me the reason to add this as a minor, because I had no idea it was a thing until I just took this one class because I needed a filler. And yeah, it was completely life-changing. Like sometimes you'll meet professors who you'll connect with for years and years after you graduate.
English, language, whatever you took it. Yeah. Yes. Get that night credit.
To C2 education, if any of you are familiar. She knows. She's aware. The only reason, and I was very privileged to be able to take SAT classes because I needed it. However, the only reason I'd say it was really important for me was because I wasn't very self-motivated when it came to studying for the SAT. My brother and I were in the same year, but we were very different in terms of study style. He was super self-motivated. He would do all practice tests at home. He had all the books. I didn't ever open the books. But going to C2, I guess the only reason was to force me to look at practice tests and to be able to do it to better my score. However, if you feel that you're self-motivated enough, I honestly felt like it wasn't needed if I was doing it at home as well. The only thing is also get your essay, your college essay checked by multiple people before you apply.
You join like a lot of clubs, even if it's a name only, just so you can put on your college resume. It helps a lot.
I'm going to be contrary to that. I think you don't need to join a lot, but I think it's helpful to do something interesting. So I think for me, one thing that really helped me was in high school. I helped start a organization on my football team to advocate against domestic violence and sexual abuse, especially among high school boys. So that I think it really helped me stand out, and then it also was very fulfilling to do something like that on my football team. And then I was actually lucky enough to get a scholarship to the university because of that, where they asked me about what I did. I could transfer that over to the university. So having that uniqueness coming in will really, I think, set you apart, and then make you a unique citizen on the campus. And I think that's what you want, because I think a lot of people can take the SAT classes and have really good grades, but you want to be somewhat different, because you don't want everyone to be the same on the campus, just like you don't want everybody to be the same in the family, or you want a lot of different perspectives and bodies. So follow your passions and do something different.